mean, who called it? Who called it that TikTok, every time I try to dual cast stream, it always goes
Literally everyone.
a bit
We
funky.
all called it, yeah.
I thought that maybe a little adjustment could help. Things could get better. Alas, not happening. Hi everyone, welcome to Maude's Book Club. We're covering We Are Legion, We Are Bob by Dennis E. Taylor. This is the cover that's just coming out. It came out in October. This is the cover that's not coming out until January. Thank you, Saga Press, for delivering these ones to me. I'm very excited for it. I am encouraging everyone to listen to the books because we are not only interviewing the author, Dennis E. Taylor, a week from today, but next Wednesday, we're going to be interviewing Ray Porter. Now, why is the Ray Porter interview exciting? Because he also, it's all the way up there. And there's a dragon sitting on it. He also narrates Project Hail Mary. So if you've listened to those books, that's a lot of fun. Super fantastic. So yeah, next week's going to be a big one. We've got, if I'm not mistaken, Wednesday, Ray Porter, Thursday, Dennis interview. After that, We Are Many. And then Saturday, we've got the Dungeon Crawler Carl TTRPG. Jeff, are you going to take a sip of that beer or are you just holding it up? I have no idea. I didn't know if your camera froze. Is it, you just gotta, is it a straw? There's a straw? No judgment. No, there's no straw in the beer. So many off-stream swears, you guys. Yeah, but it wasn't on stream, so it's not counted. Yeah, it's great so far. Yeah, it's a TikTok thing. You're going to be in Phoenix next week, says Catch. How is the volume? The volume on the mic looks a little low, actually. How's that? Let's bump that up a little bit. Thank you, K. Frito. Jeff's going to do a shoey. We were talking about shoeys in the pre-show. Guys, if you haven't joined up to be a book club member and hang out before and a bit after the shows as well, the fun group of people that talk about doing shoeys after rugby games, now's the time to do it. Patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. A link is right there in the chat. It is a fun and brilliant way to meet like-minded people, actually have these book club discussions instead of just being in the chat, and talk about some really fun, wonderful books. And they are a great community. Guys, I'm complimenting you. Can I get an aw on 3? 1, 2, 3. And then and then names pop up when they talk, so we can put names to voices. Also, Jay Buntrock suggesting that the next NBC merch item is just a boot for a shoey. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Rizzy says, don't you mean AFL games? No, I've been living in America for 12 years. I haven't seen or had anything to do with AFL for so long. I can't even remember what team I went for. I think it used to be a Lion. Go Sport. Zetio, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We are going to be talking about We Are Legion. The whole book, full spoilers. If you haven't read it, you're probably not going to understand what's going on here. And for that, I kind of apologize. But I also encourage you to read more books. Just a quick check-in now that we're in the middle of November and there's 6 weeks left to the end of the year. How is everyone's reading goal going? I'll start. I've finished 72 books and my goal is 80. And I feel like I'll get it. Except this bastard it's a December book and it's over 1,000 pages. So But I have 2 books currently that I'm at like 70%. How's everyone else going for your book goals? What are you up to? And what's the overall goal? And do you think you'll get there? Let's make everyone feel really miserable about themselves. And we'll start with Jeff. Jeff, who hasn't really been counting, what's the ballpark for the books that you've read this year?
Oh, I finally counted them up and I'm at like 208 on a goal of, I don't know, 150 or something. If I set a goal, I guess.
Oh, no, I had to.
208 is conservative. Like that's a low number.
Oh, yeah, of course it's a low number. 208. Are you even trying, Jeff? No, he says. He's not.
No, not really.
Pianki is at 64 out of 50. Round of applause. Can I get a round of applause for Pianki at 64 out of 50? Well, no, there's a soundboard, guys, that you have access to that I'm desperately trying. There it is.
Hey, Maude, I can make everyone feel better if you want.
Hold on real quick. My favorite part is I said round of applause and about 5 of you were clapping muted. Yeah. Jeff's like this. What's that like Nicole Kidman where she did? Yes, Tim, let's make everyone feel better. What book are you on and what was your goal?
I didn't set a goal, and I'm on like 6.
That's great. Fantastic. You're 6 out of 0. So
I try not to set goals because why?
some people think that setting a goal can add to pressure. I like the goal because I'm competitive and so I want to like exceed.
I'm clearly competitive. I just don't set goals like that.
That is true. That is true. Let's look at the chat here. Zetio says, I'm 47 out of 50 and it's soon to be 49. What are the 2 books you're about to finish? Berkey, are you... Goal was 40, has read 122. You watch. I'm going to absolutely laud Maude's book club as the reason why you're thrashing through goals. It's probably not, but hey, you're here. So well done. Well done. Toast Post says, I might be short on my goal. I've been watching a lot of Dimension 20, a D&D show. Yeah, and they're not short episodes. Darren, what's your goal and where you at?
The goal was 20, and I am at 23.
We're going to need a round of applause for that one.
23.
Do a round of applause for that. There it is. That only took like 5 or 6 seconds. It's not awkward or uncomfortable waiting for the sound effect, guys. It's so fun. Lisa, the goal is 150. Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm at 120 now.
Okay, let's talk through how you're going to hit 30 books in 6 weeks.
I'm going to have to find some really short books.
That's 5. Is that how many is that?
Mongo and Kiwi are appalled.
5 books a week?
Still need 30 books, so
It's 5 books a week?
it's a lot.
Totally doable.
Lisa,
Oh yeah,
Reread-
I
just
could do it
reread
if I want to
Murderbot,
really
Lisa.
I have
buckle
absolute
down.
faith.
But
Absolute faith.
Reread Murderbot. That's 5 in 3 days. Done. You got it.
Quit your
I am
job.
doing a lot of rereads.
Vaden,
Quit your job.
your goal
Quit your job.
Your goal is 50. Please don't listen to this advice. It is not supported by Maude's Book Club, but it's a solution. It is a solution. Vaden, your goal is 50.
50, and I'm 43, so I'm right on track. Exactly. Perfect.
A book a week, and these are shorter books as well. We're doing we've got 2 for this month and technically only 1 for next month. But who's going to read Dawn Shard, which is sort of like around the time of Rhythm of War?
I already read it.
Already read it?
I
Already
read
read it?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, like I need to read what's called a Warbreaker. I know that one's supposed to be pretty
Warbreaker.
good.
I did
Yeah,
avoid that one.
it's not. Yeah, so I gotta do that at some point soon. But yeah,
Love it. Robin, yours is 52, a book a week. Where you at?
60.
Round of applause, everyone, for that one. Round of applause. No, Darren, you did it again. You clapping when it's muted. It's my favorite thing, don't get me wrong, but like, it's just, yeah, okay. Academic, no goal, no clue. I've read too much for sure. I should read less and get more work done. We are not saying that on a public forum that is broadcasting. What's your
Quick
ballpark?
question.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to ask. How do you count when your significant other re-listens to books so much because they listen to it to go to sleep, and so you've heard the same book about 1 billion times?
Count it.
secondhand.
Count it. Because it's like, even though
but
she's pressing play, you're listening to it. You're consuming the book. Add it. Count it.
no. But how many times do I add it? Because I'm pretty sure I've listened to that same book like 3 or 4 times over.
What is this magic sleeping potion that she's reading?
Tim will be happy to know it was Sanderson for a while. It's no longer Sanderson. And I can't remember, but it's books make her go to sleep. I don't know.
mean,
what it
I
is.
listen to
They
books
make it-
every night, but I don't have a significant other next to me except Zelda. Zelda's in the back here being like, I've listened to 60 books this year already.
All right. So I'm close to 100 then, ballpark.
Amazing. Star Pilot 6 says, my goal was 42. My current count is 39. I am ahead of the curve. Lovely for that one. The counting of rereads, I say yes. You've read the book. Just because you already know what's in it doesn't stop you. Like, doesn't mean that the book as a read shouldn't count. You read the book. The book counts. The book counts. I listen to books at night, but I'm not a heathen and I will put my earbuds in. For real. Lisa's like, nah, books keep me awake. One more chapter. I drooled on my book last night. Yay! That needs to be like an unlocked achievement. New achievement. I've dropped a book in the bath before. Is it in here? Yeah. I can literally show you.
New achievement.
Whoops. And I loved it too. But like, I'm so glad I didn't borrow that from a friend because you cannot give a book back in that condition. That's not okay.
What the actual fuck was that?
It's a butchered book. Katie says the goal's goal is 150 and I'm at over 200. That's amazing. Look, if you've read a book this year, you are winning in my eyes, honestly. I know that there were years of my life where I didn't read a single book. It wasn't something that I was doing. And a big part of Maude's book club is really to encourage more people to read books again and put down the phone. The phone is hurting us. Books are helping us. Berkey said, I turned through a few longer series, the Bobiverse, Taltos, and the Expeditionary Force. I don't know that one. All right. Speaking of Bobiverse, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. What's everyone giving this book out of 5? I want to start with anyone who's given it a 5 out of 5. Who gave this book a 5? Ooh, not a dang person. Who gave this book the worst score, do we think? Katie's like 2.5 out of 5. Maude, stop making me read sci-fi. I fucking hate it. Katie, are you there to talk about your 2.5 star rating?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I made Brush Kid listen to it with me, and I'm just like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I had to power through and do faster than 2-point speed today, but it was funny, but I couldn't connect. I couldn't get into the world.
Okay, and this is something that I really want to talk about because I feel like this happens a little bit more in sci-fi, especially because it's not grounded. It's further away. There's like exploration parts of it. It's not a human character anymore, so it's like, yeah, no, I've got lots to discuss about it, but that's a 2.5 rating. Toaster Poster gave it a 5. It's like a video game, lots of managing materials and humans. Oh my God, did I also? Not a human character. It's technically the whole point of it is that it's not a human. K. Frito said, look, I connected with it on the first page. Snore says, I've got 2 ratings. My initial read was 3.75. My reread is 3. Vanessa said, 2 out of 5. It had no stakes. I want to hear more about that. That's really interesting feedback.
Yeah, it felt like they could just make copies. So why exactly would I care? I loved Bob at the beginning. I would have gladly read like a whole book with him. But they killed him off so fast. And then I kept thinking, why not make some of the other virtual people, like other, when there were 5? Yeah. Why not have those people on the voyage? Why make it just Bob?
Okay. You needed more distinction. I think that's really great feedback. Anyone who says otherwise about Bob is human enough for me. This is Bianchi saying anyone who says otherwise must be from Faith. Bailato says, I would argue there are no characters or stakes in this book. Baila, it sounds like you did not like this book at all. I would love to pick your brain about all of that. Lisa's saying, that's my problem right now. I'm just not connecting or caring about anything in the story yet. Look, I'll finish it. I'll read the next book, at least for the club. It sounds like we're dragging you through torture. I kind of understand the lack of connection. I do think the feedback about it feeling like a video game is what saved it for me. Was it Mass Effect where you had to do resource scouring of planets? That you'd find different planets around the solar system and you'd Yeah, it was Mass Effect because the Mako. Yeah, it gave me Mass Effect vibes where it's like, what resources are on this planet? And you had to like use your sensor, and there were like 3 parts on the planet. And then when there was like a mission there, you had to take the Mako down, and then you actually had to like do the retcon of the lands. Catch-22 saying there's a 9 Inch Nail song. I am just a copy of a copy of a copy. That's essentially the plot. Yeah. Zeshio saying, yep, you do the scanning and on the Mako. Yeah. Did I read out everyone's ratings? Brush Kid says it was also hard to remember which person/story was talking about. I also struggled with that at the end. When it was just about 3 of them that had distinct personalities, I was like, okay, yeah, they've got different names. I'm kind of understanding that Riker is substantially different to Homer, who's substantially different to Mario. And then all of a sudden there were like 10 layers of Bobs, and it did become somewhat pointless with like connection. Okay, we'll talk about that. KPW, you gave it a 4 out of 5. Academic, you gave it a 4 out of 5. Fluffy Suzz gave it a 4. Darren gave it a 3. Jimmy gives it a 3. Violeto gave it a 2. Jay Bundrock, you gave it a 4. I gave it a 4. Is that everyone's score? Berkey gave it a 4. Jeff, your score significantly dropped in the second read, but you liked it the first time round. Robin, 3.25. Jay Bundrock says every day is exactly the same there. That's exactly the same. There is no love here, and there is no pain. Yep.
That's a different 9 Inch Nails song.
And KBW, you didn't even open it. KBW, you didn't even open it? KBW? You're typing a response. I can see you. There's a camera on you. What is the story about not opening the book?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, 100% this whole time.
The Red Wings just scored. I was listening to hockey. I got the book. I had every intention of reading it. I'm in a reading slump. I am not reading any books for the last 2 months, and I just don't know why. I'm just not in the mood.
There's a ban button somewhere. No, I'm kidding.
And Ken gets blocked for audibly admitting to watching sports.
Sorry, I wasn't listening to you in book club. I was listening to the hockey instead. Put it on a shirt.
Learn how to multitask, Ken. I've been watching hockey and listening to Maude this whole time.
Damn. Reading slumps are real. I really don't know how to suggest getting out of them. My whole thing is just keep throwing shit at a wall until something sticks. I know that I was in a bit of a slump where I wasn't connecting with the narrator. The story was too slow to get into. And I was like, what are we having here? And then every now and then there's a book I'm like, okay, cool. This feels good. This is getting me out of a particular slump. So yay. I get out of a slump with an audiobook, says Academic. Yes, I feel like I'm the same there. All right, so let's talk about We Are Legion. It's written by Dennis E. Taylor. He's a Canadian novelist, formerly a computer programmer. Oh, who saw that coming a mile away? Yep. Lives near Vancouver with his family, best known for the Bobiverse series, of which these 2 books are the first 2, and his work often explores artificial intelligence, mind uploading, space exploration, and the human condition. Taylor does bring a combination of tech savvy from his programming background and a sense of humor and accessible hard sci-fi concepts, making these books fairly friendly for discussion, even if you're not a hardcore sci-fi fan. Except I know for a fact that Katie and Lisa and I read for character and connection. I don't want to speak for you, so please correct me. And even Robin's here. It's Scalzi-ish. I see that. Yeah, it's actually a mix of Scalzi and Andy Weir, I found, for sure. Pianki is saying, I don't have reading slumps. That's probably not related to just not even starting books I may not enjoy. Oh, so you just go in knowing that you're going to like this particular book. Smart plan. Toast Post said, Bobiverse actually got me out of my slump. I read all 5 books. Look at that. Well done. All right, so let's talk about what the Bobiverse is all about. Protagonist Bob Johansson, a software entrepreneur who sells his company and signs up for a cryonic preservation, is shortly after killed. It was an accident. Wakes up over a century later as a digital consciousness, essentially a sentient AI derived from his brain scan. The world has changed drastically. His preserved body is now considered property, and he's uploaded into a computer and given the assignment to pilot a von Neumann probe, a self-replicating spaceship, to explore and claim planets and space for humanity. Bob creates copies of himself, the Bobs, each exploring different systems, managing colonization, dealing with political and moral issues on Earth and in space, and encountering alien life. The tone mixes humor, hard sci-fi elements, and identity questions. So I guess a couple of first things that I want to say right off the top. The first chapter was the best. I think. The first chapter is when we actually had Bob. We had an understanding of who this guy is, I think. Jeff disagrees. He's got his disagreeing face on. Sorry. Jeff, I've said this so many times, but I'll say it. Yeah. Oh, he's just taken the camera off. Don't play poker ever. You'll get fleeced. If you want to lose money, play poker. Yeah. So I liked the first chapter because we got an understanding of who Bob is. We recognize that his company has just taken off. He sold it for a shit ton of money, and an expense that he's making in this first chapter is this whole, well, when I die, I could be cryogenically frozen and, whatever. It's a tech investment. It could be dumb. It could follow through. Who knows? And then boom, he dies. I will say, I cannot name another book where your protagonist, the main character, dies in the first chapter. Can anyone else tell me a book where someone dies in the first chapter? The main protagonist. Is there a book like it was a murder mystery and the ghost is trying to find out who killed them? Because I don't know any other way. Heretical Fishing? That's an Aussie author. I met him at Comic-Con. We should cover his book.
That RPG has this all the time. It's isekai, essentially.
Okay, got it. Lifesteal 1%. Is that another lit RPG? Got it. Medeiros space battles were my favorite parts, says Jay Buntrock. Am I saying that word right?
Medeiros? I think it's Medeiros, right?
Mm.
Medeiros.
Pianki says Master Hunter K series. Again, lit RPG. Got it. So people die in lit RPG all the time. Why was chapter 1 also my favorite chapter? Farscape gets a mention. I don't know if you guys know about my love for the little show, sci-fi based program that I believe came out around the year 2000. And I think my parents had a date night because on a Friday night, I was able to stay up at 9:30 at night as a teenager. I know. And this show called Farscape comes on. And I'm like, what in the Jim Henson puppet nerd bullshit is this? I love it. Over the next course of the years, I have gotten my entire family into Farscape. Farscape is such a brilliant show. I believe it has 4 seasons. It was shot in Australia. So some of the actors were Australian in it. 2 of the main actors went on to have pretty great career in the Stargate universe. Claudia Black, for those that don't know, is the voice of Morrigan in the Dragon Age series video games. Claudia Black's sick. I love the series so much. Maude, in a few years after that, would get invited to the races. It was a big thing for, somewhat little celebrities in Australia. You'd go to the races. And Gigi Edgley, who plays Chiana from Farscape, is there. I freak out. I'm like, oh my God, it's Gigi Edgley. And everyone's like, who the fuck is that? And I'm like, you have no idea. She's made such an impact. Like, this is nerd shit. I go up to Gigi Edgley and I'm like, oh my God, Gigi Edgley, I loved you in Farscape. And she says, you are one of about 10 people in Australia that watch Farscape. And I said, well, I know the other 4 out of those 10, they're all my family. And she's really lovely. But for me, oh my God, it was just perfect. It was fun. Anyway, all that's to say, favorite chapter, chapter 1, Farscape gets a mention. What keeps getting mentioned throughout this book, and this is what Scalzi does a lot, is, and this is what Ready Player One, author, Ready Player One. Ernest Cline. It is nerd pop culture drops, not drizzles, drops all throughout the book, as if it's like, hey, you get this reference. And that's how, like, honestly, nerds talk. That's how we wear a shirt with our favorite nerd thing. I get a Triforce tattoo so that when I'm walking down the street with my dog and someone's wearing a Zelda t-shirt, I get to be like, dude, my dog's name is Zelda. And they're like, sick. And then we keep walking like nothing ever happened. But like that level of connection. I want to know, for everyone here, were the pop culture references that were scattered throughout this book, whether it was naming other Bobs, whether it was references with Star Trek, whether it was you name it, did you think that it helped or hurt the book? Did you like how it was done? Did it make sense to the story? Or was it Dennis being like, I'm nerd? What did you think?
I felt like it was mostly saying I'm nerd, but I miss most pop culture references in general, so I'm biased.
You miss them?
I miss them. Yeah, I don't get them. I don't get them. I don't watch a lot of their pop culture stuff. So
when he names the planets Romulus and Vulcan,
I recognize that.
Okay.
I understand, recognize it. I have vague familiarities, but like that's about it.
Ali said, I'm agnostic. It didn't help or hurt. That's another conversation, Ali, with how you felt about the future and what that looks like. But yeah, academic. Did you like the nerdy references?
I did like the nerdy references, but I think they were, yes, there's partly I'm nerd, but it was also partly character establishing because as you see, as time goes on, Bob is the only person in that universe who really understands the references because he's the only one who existed when those references existed at that time. And yet he still does them because Bob, and there's other Bobs to get the references. So like it's more of a character establishing thing. This is a guy from the 21st century. This is who you are supposed to associate with.
I mean, I called my dog Zelda. I get it. If I were to replicate myself, there's going to be an Aelin, probably a Selena. Serena, God, what other? Buffy. Oh my God, I would absolutely call one of my replicants Buffy. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so I get it. I can't knock it. I would do it. Jay Buntrock said, I enjoyed them. I don't think that they were too crucial. Toast Post said, I love the pop culture references. It was used as shorthand to keep the conversation going. Fluffy says, I like them. Some went over my head. Cool. Alrighty. We are thrust into sort of where Earth goes to in 100 years. America no longer exists. There is a theologist society that has taken over. I found this to be very interesting, and on Fable, I said, wow, the progress of the American government with a religious leader, the handle, and then a successful coup that took place with the atheists trying to fight the theologists and then got squashed. So now that everything is conditioning, very sort of like Big Brother is watching. You can't have, like, even your thoughts are monitored. I said that sounded god-awful. Pun intended. I am agnostic. That sounds like a nightmare, personally. Weaponized religion, but like, and I feel like in today's society, there is a lot of blurring with the Republic Party focusing on Christianity and state politics, which the conversation always exists separating the church and the state. What did you think about this I always love futurist conversations, like where do you think we're going as a society? How did you rate this particular version of future events? Jeff.
So, in this particular case, I think it was completely unnecessary.
Because it doesn't really go anywhere after.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And so it's this, like, I'm being, like, edgy, and, like, this is kind of where things are sort of trending at the moment. And so I'm going to pick up this cultural moment and say shorthand for, like, a bad thing happening, whatever. And I thought it detracted rather than added. Because it just wasn't necessary.
It was written in 2016, and we kind of understand where Bob, aka Dennis, sits.
Right, you do.
Yeah, academic.
I don't know if I would say that it doesn't matter. It's once again, it's setting establishment. Like because of Faith's bombastic outlook on the world, they drastically are contributing to like the situation that the human race are finding themselves, which is the launching point, pun intended, for Bob heading out into the universe, right? So I do feel like it does. Thank you, Tim. I do feel like it matters for how the story progresses. And if you go further into the books, I think book 2 is we see these same governmental entities sort of rear their heads again. So it does matter, but not so. Jeff disagrees. You can't see him chat because he's shaking his head.
Do you think that kind of spells out with the dissolving of American structure that impacted sort of Australia, New Zealand, and Brazil, who end up being key players on Earth throughout the rest of the book? Because as an Australian living in America, I'm telling you right now, Australia does not have that level of religion that seeps into politics at all.
I mean, the dissolution of a global power will, of course, like affect how the rest of the world orients themselves to the rest of the world. And America, as a liberal force, has sort of unified the world as under like under the auspices of like general like freedom, free speech, and all that. Whereas Faith is completely antithetical to those sorts of principles. Like, this is our forward-facing position, right? So if we sort of move to more the censorious position that Faith has, then other countries have to say, okay, we can't do our thing the way that we were doing it before. We have to sort of do things in a way. And this is a commentary that I feel like Taylor's making that I don't necessarily agree with. We can get into that later on, like technocracies and everything that it feels like he's espousing throughout the book. So,
Vaden, you had your hand up.
Oh, so yeah, sorry. Basically, what I was wondering is the villain that Bob goes against, Medeiros, was it he driven, like not driven really, but he was programmed essentially to be, because of the religion, the driving force behind his obsession with his cause, like him trying to get revenge essentially and trying to cause the whole problem in the first place with the blowing of the planet. I
actually don't know what his motivations were. It was quite black and white in the sense of like war, domination, control. But is that fueled by an anti-theocracy stance? No.
Well, I thought he was the theocratic case. I thought he was
religious. So he was almost like
he was actually religious, but like he was programmed by religious people, and in that. No,
everyone's saying no in that one. Jay Buntrock, you've got your hand up, and then Jeff will go to you.
Medeiros and the Brazilians were more the Terminator style, where they have one mission, and that's get there first, and no one else can have it, us or no one. So that's why the Scorched Earth policy comes up so much, because the Brazilians were like, it's us or no one, and if we can't get it, then we'll destroy it.
Got it.
Okay.
Jeff?
Yeah, I guess my point about it, the religious side of things not being important, is because it doesn't matter. Like, to the book, it could be any political leaning or any philosophical leaning or anything. It's just we've coded alt-right, like crazy right-wing religious blah 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 as bad guys. Like, and this is shorthand for us in this current time period to say bad guys, and that's fine. And that whatever, but it could have been anything. It could have been fascist. It could have been whatever. It could have been any sort of like bad whatever. I think the religious, like bringing the religious thing into it, it's kind of like talking about religion at the bar. Like you don't do it. Like, and so for me, it's like it didn't take anything away from it for me, because I'm also an atheist and I don't really care, but I also respect people's right to believe what they want to believe, and so I don't want to don't love it when people just kind of use it as shorthand for a bad guy.
Got it. Academic.
If I would like to say, first of all, I agree with you, Jeff, that it is a shorthand for a bad guy, but at least in this book. But as someone who is religious, I did not find it like affronting or anything. Like I figured, okay, this is just the government at the time. That's the way that it went, and it's like, okay, he's not saying anything specifically about religion in general. In fact, you see other people throughout the book who do have those principles and they behave in a much more upstanding way. It's just the way that government turned. And I agree with you 100% there.
I will say that there's a little bit of religion that follows through when we start observing the species of a different planet where they didn't have sort of religion in their culture, and until they started worshipping Bob, which I thought was interesting. So he ended up creating himself as the deity of the culture. Great conversations. Occult Stool, I know that you've left, but my condolences for you and your wife. That's very sad. Gave it a 4.5 out of 5 though, said book was good. Alicia, I'd love to chat with you about it. She says, my background is a Christian democratic socialist. I thought the religion bashing was a bit stereotypical and ironically preachy, but I also get the 2016 frustration. Alicia also says, it's hard to be seen as Christian and smart sometimes. So maybe I'm just sensitive, but generally hate any theocratic political platforms. So BJP in India, even the Church of England. I feel like that's kind of what you were trying to say as well, Jeff, being like, it's a lower hanging fruit. When you look at the core of what the issue is, it's control. There is a system seeking control over its constituents. Like they want to control the people there. They're using religion as their form of control. And it's actually an oxymoron, because if you're calling it faith, that is a belief system, but they are actually controlling the belief part of it. So the belief I thought was really interesting, where it's like, do you believe in it? What are your beliefs? And it's like, it's irrelevant. You're just going to tell me what it is that I think. I do think maybe around the 2015, 2016 time, Pianki was saying that the first book was released in 2016, but it was probably written in like 2015 or even earlier. The idea of America going super religious has been a concept that's been written about for decades, like The Handmaid's Tale from 1985. Big Brother wasn't religious. It wasn't a religious movement, which is around, I keep calling it Big Brother, 1985. That whole concept wasn't a religious movement. Jeff, you're muted. 1984. 1984. Where am I getting 5 from? 1984. 1984. Thank you, everyone.
The Handmaid's Tale was 1985.
That's where I'm getting it from. And then 1984.
Orwell.
George Orwell, who was writing it long before 1984, is essentially saying the same thing. We are controlling you. We are controlling how you behave. We are controlling your thoughts. That is, for me, the big scary. The fact that they even called it the Ministry of Truth, which, again, you're like, where's the fucking truth? You're just controlling everyone. When thoughts start getting monitored, we're fucked. Academic, you've got thoughts.
Oh, I was just saying, in that same time period, 1980s, there's something clearly happening there. That's also when the right side of the political spectrum in America decided, we're going to go hard after Protestants by means of abortion and stuff like that. Is that 70s or 80s? Am I remembering incorrectly, Jeff?
It's technically the late 60s into the 70s when that all started. It was actually started around Nixon, sort of, if you want to get all technical, actually slightly before that even, but they really married in the 70s, and then Reagan is the fruition of all of that.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Love it.
Fluffy was saying, I didn't actually read anything into it. Fanatics are fanatics. Bottom line. Yep. Ali was also saying, you can't hear me, Maude, but I'm ironically saying, preach, Maude. Alicia also says, yeah, the first red flag for me was losing the internet so that they could decide what people learn. But isn't that a conversation? The problem, little tangent, I feel it coming. We all have access to the internet, but the algorithms are conditioning us to only collect certain information. So even when we have the ability to research, to learn, to discover, to get further and further, like to get answers, to get understanding, once the algorithm has decided what leaning side you are, it feeds deeper and deeper into that thought. So are we victims of controlled thought through the internet at the moment?
I mean, to some degree with social media, well, obviously it's algorithms and all that. People, that gets talked about a lot. So yeah, I'll just say simple, yeah, because I think everyone agrees already.
Yeah. Zeshi is saying control.
Once we lost net neutrality, that was just out the window at this point.
Zeshio, is it Zeshio or Zeshio? Help me out with that one. Saying controlling what info that you're able to access. Yep. Jeff, you're saying silo. When are we going to read that book? What is it called? Wool and something? Wool? The series? The book? The first one?
What is the first one?
Pianki says, oh, most certainly we are. So there you go. We are, even with the illusion of freedom and access to information, we are still somewhat being controlled. Fluffy says, yeah, it's up to us to make sure that we're not sitting in an echo chamber. Okay, next. I also liked let's talk about sort of like the first act here. I think the first act was what I enjoyed the most. The establishment of like understanding where we are as society like 100 years later, understanding the mechanics of who Bob is because he is a singular at this stage. I think that reading this book, was really helpful because the biggest takeaway I got from this book, The Will of the Many by James Islington, is what is the protagonist's goal? And Viz's goal was not super clear, and I think it hurt the book a little bit. Now I really look for a clear, concise protagonist goal at the start, so I recognize the journey we're about to go on. I like knowing the motivation of this character that we're with. Jeff, you seem very excited about this. This is writing 101. This is character development.
And not to take us in a wrong direction, but Biz's goals get even like it is completely lost. Like the whole plot is lost. Awful. All right, sorry.
Oh yeah, because you're reading the second book at the moment. That cut out for like 10 seconds for me. Sorry, everyone froze. And I think you were talking, so I missed the start of it, but I feel like I picked it up. Yeah, if you're writing a character, figure out who the hell they are and what it is they want. And what I really appreciated with the first part of this book is there were clearly set goals. There were one of 5 different sort of AI components, like people, personalities, that were going to be used for this program. I liked that. I liked knowing statistically there was like only a 70 or 80% chance that it would even work. I liked knowing that there was somewhat of a competition with these other 4. This is a theme and a trope in fantasy that I really like. It's the academy. It's, the challenge. It's the you've got to win a tournament to seek the prize. It's that sort of trope. And I don't know if you know this about me, I'm competitive. So when it's like, you guys must compete to see who's going to win. And I'm like, great. I liked that as an establishing start of the book with Bob 1.0. I feel like it lost it from about the halfway point onwards for me. So let's talk about sort of like Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 to look at it in that way. Something. Okay, yeah. So where do you feel like the book's strength lay the most? Was it in the establishing? Was it in the exploration? Was it in the split plots? or was it how it ended? And if you say how it's ended, please know you're wrong. Jimmy.
Again, I would think that the strength would lie in what the person that wrote it, their background, that's their strength. They wrote what they knew. They did their best to project what they thought would happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, again, the guy, I don't know the man, but he seems like he has a strong personality.
Bob?
He's not, yeah. You know, like I'm saying, like,
guy. You should know the guy because we've got.
I meant like, generally speaking, like, he seems like he's not overly verbose, but he, may think that he's got a good grasp of things, because keep in mind, he's a tech bro, and he gets involved in this whole thing. So I would assume he's got to be something like that, like not necessarily concerned about other people, mostly about his well-being, kind of thing. That's just my point of view.
What?
I'll break it down easily.
Thanks.
For example,
yep.
Bob, right? He, like you said, he sells his company, right?
Yep.
He decides that he wants to be cryo-frozen, right?
Yes.
Now, anyone that wasn't a tech bro and sold their company for a lot of money would never invest in cryo freezing.
Yes, it was an exorbitant expense that he just thought, why not? I've got so much money. Yes.
Exactly. So that leads me to think that he is just spending money stupidly. So that would mean that he is not well thought out, but he likes to do exorbitant things. Like, for example, if he was still alive, he probably would have bought a Bugatti. He probably would have, got a trophy wife. He probably would have, bought a company, made some ridiculous products, whatever it is.
You know what, Jimmy?
He's basically,
you said initially that you didn't really know the guy, and I understand. You have proved that. You have proved that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So the question was the establishment of like what Bob is, either as a person alive or uploaded. The fact that we are 100 years later, so we're re-establishing where the world is at. Then the next kind of big split difference is multiple Bob, and it starts off with about 4 of them, and each of them decide to delegate themselves to a different area. One of them is to try and find survivors on Earth. Another one is to try and find planets that are habitable. And another one is taking care of the Brazilian threat is Earth, yeah? I think the other one is just like doing resources. So like building more ships and building more Bobs. I think they're like the split factions that are happening. And then they, of course, build more Bobs. But like these are the different parts that we start seeing around the second half of the book and in the middle of the book. And then the last is sort of like studying a species, figuring out that there are issues when anyone needs to decide on what to do. Even if you are cut literally from the same code, there are differences in opinions. And trying to save a bunch of people is very, very difficult. So the question was like, which of those did you enjoy the most? And some of the answers in the chat are... was Alicia actually saying, do you even feel like there were 3 acts? To me, there wasn't a typically like rising and falling of action. I agree. I just saw it as an expanse. It just kept expanding. And then you would have a focal point on planet exploration. You would have a focal point on colonization. You would have a focal point on the science and tech side of it. You would have a focal point on Earth. And so you kept bouncing between them, but it would get further and further out more and more, which is why I think the character issue and that connection was struggling, because it was expanding and growing to the point where we didn't have like a main focus. We weren't following one person anymore. Bob was leading it. Bob was the main guy. And then his like 4 second in commands then started replicating, who then also started replicating. And so once we got to a point where there were like more than 10 Bobs, and Bob 1 wasn't necessarily in charge and there were dynamic shifts, we lost our anchor. And I think an anchor for the people who prefer a character-driven book and plot, that's where the struggle happened. Pianki said, I loved the exploration and discovery aspects. Academic said, I love the sciencey parts. K. Frito said, you just got to be the best Bob and help humanity. Alicia said, I love the science. I love the generational differences. I like the trek, like unpacking of philosophical concepts. Toast Post said, I love the exploration and the Bobs building things that were considered sci-fi from his time. Vaden said, I enjoyed how the Bobs split up, although it did feel hard to keep track. Jeff said, I think I said this earlier, but for me, the strength of the book is probably what I brought to it in thinking about philosophical questions surrounding immortality, replication, humanity, extinction, etc. K. Frito says, life as an interstellar probe is fascinating. Academic says that Jeff's favorite part of the book was basically the prime directive. Darren said the research and development was the favorite part. Jay Bumprock said, I felt the strength of the book is the depth of the different Bobs. Alicia agreed with Vaden, saying, yeah, it was hard with the audio too because they have literally the same voice except for Homer, so reading it was easier. Pianki was just reminding everyone that the Brazilian threat is everywhere and anywhere. K. Frito saying expanse is a great way to say it, like the growth of the story and the characters. Academic says, I think this is the easiest it is to keep track on audio. It becomes harder in the rest of the series since the chapter titles change. So many times I had to look at what the chapter title was to see who was talking. To me, they're all Bob, says K. Frito. All right, so let's talk about those different factions. My personal favorite, it was studying the culture and the two almost like caveman-esque type, the study of the, is it the deltoids, the deltons, the deltoid.
Deltons and grilloids?
The grilloids. The grills, I feel like is it grilloid and a delton? No wonder I got deltoid from it. The combo. The deltons. I liked this because in my head, this started being like David Attenborough. Here we are on an unexplored planet, and we can see two civilizations taking form here. One of them has humanity, empathy, and it's like really dissecting the culture. Like they're studying them. In documentaries, there is a no interference rule. You capture what happens in nature. You are not allowed to interfere. And one time, this is always in my TikTok feed, the story of the one time in the Antarctic where the documentarians decided to break the interference rule. And that was when the penguins went into the crevice and there was like a bit of a landslide and they were all stuck. And they kept trying for days to get out of this icy crevice, and the penguins were not going to be able to do it. And they realized that this entire pack, what is a pack of penguins? Platoon? This
a plethora of penguins, I don't know.
They would all die. And they decided to build little ice steps so that the penguins could get out. And I love it. I love that so much. Bob, however, is not just building ice steps for the penguins to get out. He is giving spears, technology, medicine, habitat. He's basically, and I think that there was a really interesting
predator missiles.
They had, and this was why it's interesting and obvious that Bob ended up becoming a form of deity for this species, because he's playing God. He is dictating the terms of their development. And I feel like a conversation that was coming from that is, you know, what we had with Prey, just because you could doesn't mean that you should. And there are conversations between the different Bobs arguing, you are literally like stopping the form of evolution. You are injecting so much that there isn't like a gradual evolution happening. You are amplifying their development at extreme rates. And what do you think the implications of that is going to be? So I guess my question that I want for the group is, do you think Bob had the right to choose Team Delton or Team Grilloid? Do you think the decision in choosing the Deltons was a correct one? What do you think the end goal is here? And why can't they let nature play out its own course?
I think that he can't. Wait, I don't know if he should or not. I don't. It's hard to say, really. Like I guess I wouldn't, but like I think he was very. He became very enamored with the Deltoids because of Archimedes. He felt very relatable to him, and he became like oh, this is like my guy. I like this person. He's super smart, always being very creative, always very innovative.
Them. Archimedes,
he named
right?
Them. He followed them literally everywhere. Was only watching them at all times. Not creepy at all. And so basically, it became too invested in him, and he couldn't let him go. So
Gorilloid.
We don't know what will happen without him, but yeah, for sure at least. But we had a pretty good idea. But yeah.
Jeff, what do you mean by do I have a Werner Herzog? I want to see the
You did a David Attenborough, and it was quite good. I was just wondering if you had a
I did. I just gave you one.
Also,
I would like to see the baby. There you go. Yay. Bianchi says if Bob didn't interfere, the Deltons would die. Yes. That's the point. If nature deemed them not as strong as the gorilloids, that's nature. That, you know what I mean? And that can be hard. I mean, again, on TikTok, it's like, we found this dog that was covered in paint and it was a puppy and we saved it. And I'm like, oh my God, what if you didn't find the puppy? How many puppies are walking around that have been like abused that we're not helping? You helped one, but how many have not? And I'm just like, I'd rather not know. I will spiral. Now, would I want to help every single puppy? Yes. So I understand why Bob is doing this. Academic, your hand's been up.
I was just saying that I think Bob is a bit of a sapient chauvinist. Like, he's like, okay, he's like, oh, so long as this race can think and talk, then I'm all for them, right? And so that's what he's biased towards. And even if that means that he has to interfere and not go David Attenborough and so go Steve Irwin, he'll do it.
What is it? A sentient chauvinist? What did you say?
Sapient chauvinist.
That was good. Jeff.
So then the question becomes, and I just gonna put this out there. There's the aliens who are stripping whole systems, right? Mm-hmm. And if they're the more powerful, and that's nature, whatever, do they have the right to? Should somebody interfere? Should somebody stop them? Should somebody not? Should we just let them roll over the humans? Because that's, eventually down the road, possibly.
What do you think?
Yes, humans suck.
Okay.
I like us. Not all of us, but I like me, and I feel like that's the basis where a lot of our morality sort of like stems out of. I like me. I know that I am me as a person, and ideally, I want other people to treat me the way that I would like to be treated. And so...
Do you think, though, that this is a larger kind of conversation about the fact that Earth is battling each other? Brazil has this scorched earth mentality. Australia and New Zealand are kind of like Sweden here, where they're sort of opting out of everything. My favorite line was like, we think Australia has a nuke, but we're not sure. And I was like, that's fucking right. You'll never know. I liked Australia in like 100 years time. I was like, yeah. I was proud of that, actually. And they're like, we think we need to give New Zealand it. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Why do I have stakes in this? The problem is, if Earth is bickering and there is an alien force out there that is going to eradicate everything, work together. Like, this is a sign to unify more than ever, because there is a greater threat. And it's like, would you rather spend the energy, time, and resources trying to conquer just Earth again, or see bigger pictures here, Jeff? Oh, and then Jay Bunrock.
Well, so the part of the question also is, Bob, there was a middle ground. There was a middle path. Like, he could have just kind of anonymously helped the Deltons and not really gotten involved. But he literally chose to be Sky God Bob.
Yep.
Like he made the choice to create religion in a pre-religion society, if you want to call it that, whatever, culture, whatever. And so that's where it crossed the line for me, was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you could have just protected them and everything would have been fine, and maybe they wouldn't have advanced quite as quickly, but it would have been okay. And instead, you're going to play God, literal God.
And we come back to control. He is controlling the development of an entire civilization that is green, that is learning, that is dying, trying to survive. And he is controlling and dictating the terms of their growth. James Bunk. Why am I struggling? Sorry, James. James Buntrock.
I think it comes back to selfishness, because one of the themes that keeps popping up is loneliness. They always say that they're going to miss the other guy. So part of the reason I think they picked the Deltans is the potential, because Bob's immortal, so he knows he can be patient enough for the Deltans to advance enough.
He's not patient with it, though.
Harvesting his... Well, yeah, well, he knows he's going to be around, or he can throttle his frame rate, is what they use. And then the same with the humans are all bickering, fighting, and you can tell he doesn't like him and he thinks about blowing him up, but still, it goes back to loneliness.
Yeah.
And as for the new aliens, they've shown that they break things down quickly at a subatomic level. So that's equally the adversary to Bob. So I don't think he would want them to exist, because they would probably take him out pretty quickly. So it's not even about letting the humans die, it's about his own self-preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. E4D, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to Moore's Book Club. We're talking sci-fi books. We're talking all spoilers for We Are Legion, We Are Bob by Dennis E. Taylor. Some of the comments, I'm a little bit behind, so bear with me. But Alicia says that Bob sees himself in Archimedes and decides that his genes should pass on. I wonder if part of that comes from him being robbed of the chance to have progeny during his time as a human. Very well, yeah, there it is. We have the motivation. Vanessa says, the chapters with the deltoids irked me. Why have the smart person be another guy? Can't we just have one female character? Actually, really fair point. The only woman we have pretty much in this entire series are the women of the deltoid community that need to be protected because they cannot fight. And Julie, who is Bob's niece's grandchild, great-great-great-great-great-grandchild, and that's his only semblance of family, and they've kind of taken to him in a family-esque sort of way. There are not really many women at all. Alicia says, I hope the next book explores the repercussions of him being so hard on the gorilloids. I, at the 80% mark, said, what if the gorilloids were the ones that you were supposed to save? What if the gorilloids, through evolution somehow, I don't know, had something that they needed for the survival of, like, the human race? More comments coming in. Jeff says Vaden would have let the Deltans die off. Murderer! Toast Post said, I loved the whole Archimedes story. Bianchi says, I agree with what Bob did. He chose the clearly more intelligent race that was more human-like. Jimmy says, does Bob have the right? No. He chose anyway because he favored one over the other. Maybe because he saw value in them. Maybe there's a connection in the later books. Well said, Jimmy. Steph then says, then should the Bobs save humanity? I think they're trying. I think that that's another sector of Bobs that are actively trying to save humanity and protect the remaining... How many are on Earth? It's like 500,000 or something? No? There is... I swear that there's like...
I think it was like 5 million.
5 million?
It's 20 million humans left.
20 million humans left, yeah. And they're all bickering. And they all think that they know best. And that's just a whole series of politics where, again, Bob has established himself as leader because he's trying to save humanity. And then everyone has a thought and an opinion on how best to move forward with it all. And it is not harmonious. That's what was really interesting. Did Bob select the Deltans? Because when Bob said, we need to execute this plan, there was no pushback. The Deltans were the only ones that have not had pushback. Humans and other Bobs have all pushed back. That's an interesting thought too. Keep going in the comments. If nature was to take its course, humans should have been let to die off. It wouldn't be my choice though. Alicia says, oh my God, was anyone else absolutely terrified by the metal ants? Reminded me of prion diseases. So scary. Yeah, because the thing that they were using to scan is what activated them and made them. I thought that was really, really clever. I liked that. Pianki says, from Bob's point of view, his conclusion seemed that he didn't think that the Deltans would survive without his heavy-handed interference. Secretly trying to secretly nudge them, like leaving the flint, would not have been enough. Darren says, I kept waiting for that to be a big lie. Is that the Deltans?
I kept waiting for the whole Julia being his relative to be a big lie by Faith to earn a spot, where they're like, oh yeah, these are your relatives, give us a spot on the ship. And that never went anywhere. Maybe it goes somewhere later down the line, but
I like that.
That's what my first suspicions were. Once that whole thing brought up, it was just sort of trying to be manipulative.
What a great way to do it as well. And it would make sense of bringing it up in the first part of the book as well. I like that. I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen now, though. All right. KB Dub says, everyone thinking they know best is so silly. Clearly, only I know best, and that's every human ever. Vaden says, yeah, that's a great point, Maude. Without anyone to stop him, Bob wanted to become a new species god. The other Bobs had to convince him to leave them eventually. Jay Buntrock says, yeah, he seemed to accept Julia too easily. Pianki says, but didn't Bob see his sister in his relative's features? Yeah, as if. That's a bit far-fetched, I think, at the same time. Let's go back to the big theme of lonerism and being left alone. Bob was a good replicant to have because he liked solitude. We've talked about this a lot. During the pandemic, did you thrive or did you go crazy? I played so many video games in lockdown. I think I've established that it maybe around the day 10 mark of not leaving the house, I start getting a little itchy, but it takes 10 days to get there. Bob very much says he's antisocial and likes solitude, but too much alone time, generations of being isolated, that was a really scary concern. We saw it with the abandoned sailor, is that the Kiwi, where he had been left in sort of like isolation solitude for a very, very long time and had obviously gone mad because of it. He was an Aussie. Oh, the Aussie sailor. He'd gone mad because it was existing in a non-place but still functioning. And that, I think that is one of the worst things that could happen. Like people who are in coma and then they wake up and they're like, oh, I heard everything. Oh my God. But that's what essentially has been happening. So it makes sense that this person has absolutely lost it. But connection is a big part of this book. Why aren't we connecting if a theme is connection? Do you understand sort of like Bob's need for connection as well? Henry Roberts. That's right. Henry Roberts. Which is hilarious because Roberts is my mum's maiden name and I come from a line of Robertses. Henry, are you my future great grandchild? Yeah, right. Jeff.
So I think alone or solo or loner or whatever starts to change perspective when you're talking about immortality. I think this is where it changes, right? Like I'm an introvert. I love to be alone and I recharge alone and that's fine. But I'm still very social. So I go out too. But it's when you're talking about, they're staring at centuries, millennia.
Forever.
They're staring at forever. And in that context, being alone is a different conversation.
There's alone and lonely as well. Yeah, the thought of sort of that isolation for vast endlessness, a little scary. I would absolutely replicate myself, not just because you can get more done with more of you. What I couldn't compute, he is technically code, no? Bob is not code. Bob was uploaded. Bob's brain was uploaded. Does that not mean that it becomes code? How are you copying a Bob? You are
he's digitized, but I don't think it's necessarily. I mean, he's code, I guess, but like it's
a scan of a brain.
Beginning. There's still some things can change afterwards. Like it can evolve from there. Like it's not like
the code it changes, so it's not.
Yeah, because like even people who are like clones, it's not clones, but twins who have the exact same DNA can be almost have wildly different personalities. That's the way I think of it, at least, even though it's not the same thing. It's close enough. That's how I get it.
Chappy. I didn't actually watch it. Academic.
I feel like the replication is the most magical part of this book. There's a lot of science in this book, but I feel like, how did you somehow perfectly synthesize this person who was a human? There's different parts, but like he as a digital entity, and then obviously there's replicative drift and all of that's discussed. So that's the most magical part of the book. The AI's fine, we understand AI. How did you take someone that existed over here and put them in a computer? Like how did you make that happen?
And then how is he then able to form VR?
Touch on much later, but yeah.
Yeah, but then like he's got a VR version of himself. I also wondered like how we know technology as advancing at such a rapid rate. Is the technology advancement only confined by what Bob knows? Because a society has a cumulative enhancement. Like everyone's adding. It's a trial, it's experiment. Everyone's coming together with all of their information to grow. But if Bob is a copy, I guess once you start having those copies, you then become that group enhancement. So they could all learn different paths and different bits of science. Why is their technology advancing faster if we are experiencing through centuries of time? Because I feel like the Bobs get together and it's like, blink, little upgrade for you, buddy. And it's like, I haven't seen you in 75 years. We're now rocking cool seats on our deck with a beer. Blip, blip, there's your upload. So you get that. When you look at our technology, 75 years is alarmingly different. Why aren't we getting that same level of technology? The more Bobs that are getting replicants with science as a priority. Someone's not like, oh, I'm going to just laze about. No, everyone has an endeavor to learn more. So why are they not progressing their technology so much more rapidly? Who would like to tackle that? James?
I think Dennis Taylor tries to cover this in the first part of the book when he wakes up, that he now says that he has a computing level brain. So now it's a human intellect, but he's able to do computations at the speed of like a supercomputer. So I think that's how he covered to try and explain how he can easily learn and adapt and make that VR so quick and fast and develop things.
I don't think it was
just
fast.
The power of computing.
I think that...
Well, relatively fast.
I mean, they're making more ships, but that's using the 3D printer. Oh my goodness, this 3D printer is the best thing that's ever happened.
But they're also developing they're able to send. He's developing new technology to get down onto the planets because he had no ability to actually explore planets when he first got out there.
And then they had
yeah.
I was going to say, and then they had to go back. They had to go back to farming. Like farming was the thing that they'd forgotten about, and it's like, now. If you're going to colonize, you got to start from the start, and that's like agriculture. So we need to,
He's also developing the hyperlink chat rooms where he's able to see all the other Bobs that are extremely far away.
Yeah, like light years away, and they're having real-time conversations. Yeah, that is cool. There is amazing technological advances in the book. He made interstellar discord, FTL communication. What are some other things that happened in here? Academic, you had a few?
He's terraforming a planet from scratch. That's kind of that's Red Rising, right? Like that's pretty cool. I don't know what's in future books, what's in now. I'll say that. I'll leave it there.
Jay Buntrock says, I was hoping that a romance would bloom between two of the Bobs. Is that incestuous, or is it just like the purest form of narcissism? I reckon if Maude winked at me, I'd be like, babes, what are you doing later? No, that would be so weird. I don't think it could happen. That's a great conversation, though. How far removed of a Bob until...
It goes back to academics saying, I like me.
Respecting yourself and, like, what we're talking about. I mean, how lonely is it?
I will say I know everything that I like, you know? What I'm
You will
saying?
never be disappointed. How did you know? Oh, you are me, of course. Oh, there you go. It's got to be at least fourth cousin Bob, says Vaden. Can't be a direct copy. Change the name at least. Who was your favorite Bob? Isn't that just self-pleasure, says Brush Kid. Technically, yeah. Self-love. They kind of explored it in the Loki show. Yes, they did. Who's your favorite Bob? Academic says Bill. Why?
He's the nerdiest of the Bobs. He's guy with his skunk works. He's doing the terraforming. He's doing all the fun science stuff. That's Bill.
Jeff, you like Mario the most. Why? Because he's a bit antisocial.
Oh, he just takes off. He's like, I'm out. Like, I'm out. Like, this is
I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
How far I can go. And like, his whole plan when he gets there is I'm going to build a space station that just says Mario was here and then keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. Immediately got away from everyone. Yeah, that's Jay Buntrock's favorite as well. Vaden and Jimmy say Homer.
I switched.
You switched? Okay, you changed. Right.
Elmer.
Elmer. Why Elmer?
Elmer I think Elmer had like a. I like the way that Bob initially didn't believe in him. Essentially, he like Peter Bob is just like, hey, this thing's, his drop off and stuff like, hey, this might not work. This might not be the greatest idea. But then once it actually came down to it, he executed the plan basically as well as he could, and he went down with the ship, as bravely as it could. So he was. I feel like he had a better arc than most of the Bobs.
I will say, by Elmer's generation, I had disconnected. It was too far down. I'd maxed out of names. Alicia said, to be fair, Milo is my baby's nickname. Aw. Bob and Bill are my favorites here in book 1, says Pianki. K. Frida says, who's your favorite Bob, Maude? Homer. Homer was a beautiful contradiction. I actually really liked that Homer was supposed to be like, and they put the voice on in the book as well. I'm Homer, or whatever. He ended up having some really, really astute observations. He was actually quite brilliant. And I think that the fact that Homer, who is quintessentially stupid, ended up being one of the smarter Bobs. Homer is still Bob, yeah, but I just like that juxtaposition where it's like, oh, guys, I have an idea. No. And it's like, it's supposed to be like, pull my finger. But no. Why do you think... Would it make more sense if we had an understanding of Bob fanboy, so people that name themselves like, a pop culture reference makes sense. Like, we all look at our different personality types. I have leadership. I also have, like, really honest. I also have a cunty side. I also have, all of these other things. So it's like, who's to say that the Maude would adopt any one of my more dominant personality traits and sort of take off with it? I think that's kind of what we saw with Milo, who was the loner version of Bob that just went full loner. Riker was a little bit more like, militant. I definitely deserved a swear for that one. I just don't know what else to call it. It is the most perfect word. Jay Butler says, I love the one named Goku. Yeah, Goku I wish was like wanting to power up all the time. That'd be sick. Sorry, Vaden.
Just I was thinking, like, it kind of reminds me a bit of like when you play character, like a D&D or Tales of RPG campaign. Like, you make these characters and they have a portion of personality in them. You can't make someone just completely different from you. I've just never seen someone really do that. And so so it's kind of like that. You make the character, they come out and they have some similarities to you, but otherwise they want to express something differently. So that's why each Bob is like a different expression of how how Bob could have gone essentially if things were different in his life. But either way, in the end, the core is still roughly Bob.
Arthur gets no respect, says Jeff. Arthur died, yeah? He was the one who died. They didn't have a backup, and so they just had to farewell forever. Arthur's my nephew's name. I'm taking that personally. Dennis. Alicia's saying there's nurture versus nature as well, and here nurture is what's taking over a little more. Am I putting words in your mouth? Is that what you're saying? Nurture over nature. Do you think you would get along with you? Yeah. No. Jeff. Oh my God. 3 Jeffs in a room. One's walking away. Jeff is like, hell no. Who do you think would you get along with multiple versions of you? I think I would get along with myself, says Pianki. KPW said there would be so many puns. It would get unbearable, I think, at one stage, because you're all quick and you'd all try to get it. The Jeffs would implode from disagreeing. Hold on, but if you are a contrarian and everyone's contrarian, wouldn't it come full circle and you'd all start agreeing then?
Yeah, I mean, I think eventually we'd all just like split off and silently do what we're going to do, and things would definitely get done. I mean, eventually, but it would not be cordial.
I actually think in the situation with the Deltons, the empathetic Maude that would absolutely exist, the one that would want to protect everyone and everything, would really struggle against the authoritarian Maude who has to make the tough decision, but the necessary decision. I think those two that'd be a slog. That's where I think the biggest disagreement would come. What's necessary and then like what's hopeful. Hopeful Maude. Poor thing. There's not room for that much longer. Academic.
I don't think you'd have too much to worry about, because it does seem like they're all working off of the same template. It's not like Riker's all gung-ho authoritarian war leaders and Bob's, who's in the Delton, all just smushy, gooey hearted the whole time. Like they still have like the same underpinning moral code, at least by Gen 1/2.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and this is what would be really interesting. You've got original Bob, who I technically like branched out to 4 or so different ones, and then they would then replicate them. So there are generational differences. So the more that the replicants kind of like the generation keep splitting and then they split and then they split, the more variance we're going to have big time. And I think, again, this is why I started disassociating. Once we had like main Bob 1.0 not leading the story, once like the Elmers and the Arthurs came in, I'm kind of just like, okay, you're all just doing stuff now. Cool. Why do I care? Who am I rooting for? What is the main situation here? I don't really follow anyone because they're not distinctive enough. Why are you guys laughing? Is this a sport thing? Is there a sport thing happening?
No, Jeff made a crack to my comment about a large group of catch-22s being the literal cure to my ADHD.
Literally no one else would get a word in. Got it. Okay.
I said, that sounds like not my problem.
I actually saw that comment and I thought, with your ADHD, like the whole time, your Tims would be like, that reminds me, I already know. And like you'd never have to finish your sentence because like...
Right, but the level of hyper-focus on various tasks would be astonishing, and we'd get so much done.
Yeah, actually. That's true. And my ADHD is procrastination. So if you want a development in any area, it ain't going to happen on my ship. Let me tell you. So general report, what did everyone get up to today? Well, I organized a wardrobe of things we can't wear. But I didn't do any of the necessary things. That actually, there was a little bit of anxiety inducing things where it's like the main Bob, or, you know, like the, let's say Gen 1s, their to-do list was constant. It was like every single day an undoable number kept being added. And so when you look at infinity and knowing that you're actually never going to get through all the things that you need to do, that I thought was a little bit overwhelming. That is not even an existence that I don't think I would want to be in. There is no balance. It's just constantly working. Jeff?
Can I bring us back to the book for just 1 second to ask one question that I'm curious about other people answering? Bob has shut off all of his constraints, right? He can do whatever he wants. He has no reason to go back to Earth. If this book was me as Bob, this book is like 30 pages. It's over. Earth can go forget itself, and I don't care, and I'm gone. Like, I'm Mario on my way to the outer edge of the galaxy. Is anyone else in that boat? Like, was anyone else thinking, like, why?
For
why
what?
go back?
For what?
Like, for what? They're blowing themselves up, and we know this because the war started as we were leaving. And like, why go back to that? And why care? Like, I don't know.
Well, empathy, right?
I'm in that boat, Jeff. I literally said, fuck it, let the humans die, they suck.
Empathy's so overrated.
I get you, but I think at least part of me goes back, because I know that if I knew the world was just Faith, I don't think I'd ever go back there. But the world, I also know the world is not just Faith, who is our proxy for a bad guy, right? Like, it's the UFS, it's the Australian and New Zealand enclave, it's Africa. And we know that Faith and Brazil are kind of the baddies in this book, and so we're like, okay, if that's all the world is, fine. But there's other people back there, so I go back there for everyone else.
But you're not human anymore. Like, it's not.
So if you're not human, you lose
as Tim
humanity.
Eloquently said earlier, not my problem.
Not my problem. I hear you,
not my
but
problem anymore.
I like Bob
I'm
and a
Von
Sabian
Neumann
chauvinist. I hear you. I do like. I would be lonely. I feel like I would be, and this is actually one of the things I also wanted to talk about in the book, is I feel like there is a little bit of a bent of like a technocracy like worship in this book that I'm not sure if I completely gel with. As much of as a sciencey sci-fi sort of guy I am, I'm like, I don't know about this technocracy type stuff. But I feel like I would. If all I had in the universe, if all I knew in the universe was me, because at this point I don't know that there are other sentient or sapient people in the universe, I go back to the place where I know there's more diversity of thought, and I try and save that.
But you run into the problem of being a vampire, right? Like, you're gonna live forever, and even if you run in and you become attached to your ancestor or whatever, you find whatever, they're gonna die and you're gonna keep living. Like,
No, it sounds horrible. And so, like, there's ways that you get around that, right? Like, obviously the technology to replicate has been developed. How do you create more replicated people? Like, this is clearly a different mode of living in this case. So how do you invite other people into this?
Quit foreshadowing future books. Jeez, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
That's not a spoiler.
Have you read the series?
Continue.
Academic?
Both of us have,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're both
of us.
Like,
I wouldn't have known if you never said anything.
I feel like that's a pretty easy thought, right? Like, Bob replicated. There was 5 other replicants, right, in the very first part of the book.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Academic. Like, I mean, I definitely would expect it to see more. I bet you Julie. I'm sure we see Julie at some point. There's no way they just drop her name and ignore her forever. Like, there's going to be other replicants. He's going to find somebody he likes, someone's they're going to die. He's like, oh, I want you to be around. I'll replicate you. So there's no way it's going to end with that.
Okay, I'll get a prediction. Battlestar Galactica gets a mention. Why? Because Cylons are cool. What if the replicants to kind of like put a bit of a Cylon spin on it where they look like humans, but they're not? That could be interesting as well. Borgs. Yeah, okay, this is fun. What if, like, the humans decide to eradicate the replicants by inducing a virus? Since they're all connected, the virus could start wiping them all out if they stop helping or stop meeting their demands. One of the Bobs is working on an android body. Cyborgs. That is the thing about some spoilers. If you tell no one that it's a spoiler, they won't know. And they won't remember when they get there. Exactly. You're like, oh, we shouldn't say that. I'm like, why? Well, now I know. Got it.
Does foreshadowing count as a spoiler?
I don't think so. It's already there. New Zealand did try to hack Riker. Yeah, I really like that. That's probably something that New Zealand would do. Very proud of them. Good. Just take over Riker. Kia ora, very happy for the Kiwis out there. Now, you don't know this, but Kiwis do sound extraordinarily different to Aussies. Yes, they do. They sound so different. So different. All their vowels are fucked up. Zeshio says, I mean, life is like that already at a smaller scale. We lose folks or we watch relationships go away all the time. You just got to stay in the moment. But what if that moment is endless? Like, I kind of get that. And it's like the never-ending to-do list. It's constantly needing the attention and the presence, and every day is demanding. And I would get burnout. Even if I were a replicant, I'd be like, I don't want to today. I've run out of fucks. Oh no, all gone. All gone. Yes, academic.
I mean, in the first part of the book that you love so much, they said most replicants go crazy, and they don't even live last nearly as long as Bob does. So, like, it's not crazy to be like, I don't think I'd do it. I could make it, and that's fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't pass the test if it was like me and 4 others. It'd be like, Maude, unplug. I'm like, all right, got it. Yes, Vaden?
Oh, I just find it. What if you're like, yeah, the replicants, they all do their own things. Some help you, some don't, and then you can using your interstellar Discord or whatever, you're able to like live vicariously through the other ones. You can see through them, and still, if you want to explore, but you don't have time to explore because you're helping the humans not kill themselves. You can still kind of live vicariously through. Mario, in case, let's say he's doing the exploration. So I think that's how I would love to see it, because that way you get to help the humans if you want to, and help whatever else you want. But you also get a chance to be the people, get to explore the universe, because there's obviously infinite amount of time, infinite amount of space to explore. So that's what I would love to do the most.
Yeah, just balance as well.
Yeah.
Ali says the to-do list gives him purpose, and I feel like, yeah, I would not want to do nothing all the time, and I wouldn't want to do everything all the time, but I would want to have balance. I'm like, cool, I worked, now I rest. Now I work. But do you need rest if you're a replicant? Do you also need human traits? Like, is play important? We've established connections important, but wouldn't play be important? Brene Brown did a great study on the necessity of play, and how as adults a lot of our creativity is stamped out in school. And can we make replicants instead of replicants? Nice, KP Dubs, nice. But socializing, team sports, community, play, creativity, all of these things are incredibly important in life, and do replicants need that? Go sports. Go sport. Bob organizes baseball games. They do weekly baseball. There you go. Yeah, team sport. I mean, I give sport a lot of shit. I'm on a softball league. I'm literally on a softball league. So I did give up my captaincy though. There was a new set of, oh my God, we're at a new league.
It's okay.
New league, new sets of rules. I used to do playlists because we could do 2 male hitters and then a woman and then 2 men. And so it would be the same the whole time. This league, we have more guys than girls, but we have to do guy, girl. And so I cannot create a coherent playlist, and it just became too hard. And then we're not allowed to drink at this new park. Fuck that. It's a Friday night. Why aren't I necking White Claws? You know what I mean? So it's just not fun anymore. And so I was like, why am I working so hard when there isn't as much of a reward? And then did I tell you guys, I stopped a ball that was hit very, very fast with my leg. yay, congratulations, the ball stopped. I threw it to first, they got out. I still have a permanent mark on my leg from this ball cracking into my
It's not
shin.
permanent. Calm down.
I have a scar. I have a scar.
You do not have a
I do. I will show it in the members chat. In Discord chat. I will fucking show you.
I was about to say that we all accept your hypocrisy when it comes to sports. And it's okay.
Literally taking a photo of my leg.
I do not believe you that you have a scar.
In real time, this injury is 6 weeks old. It's not going anywhere. Show chat. Maude's leg, you creeps. Look at this fucking mark on my leg. I'm very upset about it. 6 weeks. What do I do? How do I get rid of this goddamn mark? Scar.
I've had that exact same mark on my shin from playing basketball. It goes away. It is not there anymore.
How long does it take?
Mine was worse. And it took like a month and a half.
I'm so
I
sick.
have like 7 of those on each leg from
You'll
years.
be fine.
That's gonna scar.
No, it is not going to scar.
It's not a bruise. It's not a bruise,
Do you need me to show you before and after photos of my shin to prove it?
It'll go away after a while.
I'll take a picture of our body.
Also, members chat, enjoy knowing that I wear Ugg boots during the show.
Listen, it's okay.
My
Boots
booties
with
are
the
mom. 8 to 12 weeks. Yeah, but I'm at like the 7 or 8 week mark.
So then you still got 3 weeks. You'll be fine. I promise.
Down. I hate
Gmod,
it.
that really sucks. There.
Thank you. God, that's really not hard. We've had the conversation. Thank you for listening.
How'd you get that scar playing basketball, Tim? I think that's more impressive. I get softball.
Did you really?
Show you I will find the picture and show it to you and tell you the story.
My leg. There. Oh, that's actually a really cute little gift, Frito. Aww. That was my last day at SourceFed. There you go. If you need more reasons to become a member, you can look at a scar on Maude's leg. It's a fucking scar, guys. I'll not hear any other thing about it. It's a mark that is on my legs. The worst part is it's next to the 20 stitches down my leg. And I'm just like, this poor leg has gone through so much. It's not a tumor. You can just cover it with a tattoo. Zesh, it's like front and center on my shin. It's so gross. I'm over it. And like, for what? We got the guy out? I don't even know what he looks like. I don't care. I just don't care. The mark was not worth it. And I couldn't even drink. So anyway, that's the update. I'm no longer captain because I was like, fuck this. This ain't fun. I don't want to lead something that I'm not enjoying. That's usually like a post or pre-show conversation, by the way, everyone. But we're getting into... I feel like I've talked about all the things that I've wanted to talk about. Anything else, guys? We talked about the Deltons. We talked about kind of the Brazil fight. We talked about being alone. We talked about the variants, the variables with the replicants. Academic.
Which Brazil fight did we talk about? Because there were several Brazil fights.
There were, and they kept trying different techniques. And again, it kind of reminded me of when we covered Thrawn, and I don't particularly like giant StarCraft combat, and I don't do anything for me. That's a KP-dub specialty. I'm not really into it. It just felt like the first 3, they got away every single time. And again, the stakes were not there. And even when Milo did get eventually killed by one of the attacks, by that stage I felt nothing because there were already like 64 other ones.
So I hear you about the Medeiros combat, but there was definite stakes for Riker's combat for the battle for Earth, which was not Medeiros. That was the other Brazilian, because there were 2 Brazilian replicants, and one was literally throwing space detritus like astros and whatnot onto Earth.
I like detritus as a word. This book made me realize that.
And so like that, I felt like that battle was pretty cool.
I like that you liked it.
So, like, I'm curious to see how like it escalates because they're literally using nukes at this point at the end of the first book. So like, what's next? Like,
I don't care.
super nukes, like black hole generators, like who knows? I don't know. I mean,
to read next.
That's interesting. Black hole. Can I read the blurb of the second book? Oh, Matt Dinnerman does a word on the back. By the time I finished the first Bobiverse book, I'd already purchased the whole series. By the time I finished the second one, I named every fish in my tank Bob because they keep multiplying. The book keeps getting better, and they stay with you long after you're done. That's cute. Where is the blurb, though? I don't think I have it in this copy. No. Do we have an about the book? Oh, there's a map, which means... Have we got a map in this one? Ah!
There's a map? Wait, there's a map?
Well, there is a timeline. Can you see this? This is for show chat.
Oh, okay.
And then this is for stream. Seb's like, Maude, why do you keep expecting it to focus? You turned the autofocus feature off. You're so right. I forgot. So we have the timeline of Bobiverse Book 1 where Bob wakes up all the way through the Deltons reach the Flint site. Honestly, I don't really understand it at all. I feel like it does go off into like what Riker is doing, building the clones, boop, boop, boop. So there's like 3 more. There isn't a key here though, so I don't know what the symbols actually represent. Cool, so that was not helpful for me.
It looks like it's a table, right? Like the points are just, this happened. Is the top part, the x-axis, is that time?
Yep. No, time goes down. No, I don't know.
Time goes down?
Wait, no, the chain of events go down. Oh, while time goes across. No, you're right.
Okay.
What else is on the back of this book? Colonization of a new planet was always so easy in science fiction. Actually, scratch that. It was never easy. That doesn't really tell us much at all. That doesn't really tell us much at all. All right. Well, we're reading the second book this next week, so everyone finish it. Detritus is a planet in Brandon Sanderson's Kytoverse universe? Kyroverse? What is that?
Saito.
Saito, yeah.
Saitoverse?
Yeah.
What is that? I'm on hard C's because I'm reading The Strength of the Few, and that's James Islington said that all of the words that have hard C's, so that's where I'm at. Saito. Quantum torpedoes, phasers, photon torpedoes. I don't care. Alicia says, I also want to see the humans fight the Deltons, and Bob ends up picking the Deltons over his own race. Well, it's not his race anymore. Fluffy says, I'm going to continue the series. Toaster Post says, are you going to continue the series? Is anyone in chat going to continue the series after book club? Well, I'm going to read book 2. Book 2 is our bonus book for the month. We're doing books 1 and 2. Matt Dinnerman will be proud of us. Jeff said, what's Maude's rating? I did give it a 4. It's less now. Yeah, it dropped 0.5. That often happens. I will come in with a book and be like, it's 5. And then by the end of our discussion, it's a 4.2. God damn it. I was enjoying it. There are others where I'm like, especially if I've read it first without the club, I will fight for that score and I will keep it. And that's like, would I maybe change some of the scores of some of the books? Like, I don't think all of ACOTAR books are a 5 out of 5. They're all of them, bias 5. No, they're like definitely different.
What was the last time you actually improved your rating after book club? Just curious.
I don't think I have. I start high and then we find critical error.
So Maude's an optimist who takes feedback.
There you go. There you go. I start at a 5 and then by the time I'm done with you lot, I'm scarred. Literally. Broken.
I'm glad we can ruin your experience.
Depleted. Katie Brush says, I don't think I'm going to read book 2. Katie, I do not blame you. You gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Like, I do not blame you. Fluffy said, what changed for this score? I'm now recognizing the detachment that I had of the second half of the book. Yeah. Sagista, emotional damage. I'm not hearing that if it's coming through. That could be a me thing, though. I don't think I've opened up sound stuff. Sorry, I forget sometimes. I'll give you them. Vaden, have we ever learned how to give people bits back?
It depends. Like some of them I can, some I can't. It depends on like what's like. Let me check to see if this one lets me.
Who else is not going to read book 2? The Delton storyline stinks. You're not going to read book 2, Tim? No.
Nope.
Did you read book 1?
Nope.
Well, there you go. That makes sense. That checks out. Academic, you've already read it. Are you going to reread it?
I just reread it. I read all 5 books in the last 2 weeks.
Got it. Who else is opting out of book 2? Can I give you recommended reading instead if you're not going to read book 2?
Go for it.
A reminder, I am interviewing Carissa Broadbent on the 4th of December at 5 p.m. Carissa Broadbent has 2 series out at the moment, the Crown of Nyaxia series, which if you're into romantasy with a little bit of vampire, Robin, I know you just read them. They're enjoyable. God. Men, you don't have to put your head in your hands when I talk about this stuff. Yeah, everyone's like, I love it. I liked those books a lot. They were a solid 4 for me. They're a fun time. What's his name? Is like got an unnecessary letter in his name, like when
Rain.
Yeah, with like an H in there.
It has an H in it.
There's an H in Rain. That's why I listened to the book. I actually really enjoyed listening to these books. Amanda Lee Cobb is the narrator, and she does a fantastic job. The world.
What was that book called again, Maude?
Crown of Nyaxia series.
Okay, I have to read it now, just to spite Academic.
Ain't no way Tim would read Romantasy over the Bobiverse. Okay, yeah. What's the first one? The Serpent and the Nightwing? What's it called? Yeah? The Serpent and the Nightwing.
I'm going to hate it, but I'll read it.
Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Wings of Night. Nightwing. Oh, no wonder. I got a crush on... anyway, I always have a crush on Nightwing. Nightwing is... I'm not even going to finish that sentence, I don't think. Rain in Spain falls mainly in play. I've noticed that if a book is really good, we are usually struggling to end the stream. So there you go. Yeah, I also have to get out of here too, though. The points have been back. Toaster poster. There you go. Thank you, Vaden, for helping me out with that one.
I put a picture for you in show chat, Maude.
Oh dear. I'm nervous. That didn't scar?
No, ma'am.
Is that just from...
And that's bruised, like, all the way around my calf, almost.
And that's blunt... I love that we're just showing wounds on legs at the moment. If that's your thing, join now, because there is a plethora of, like, up-close wounds on legs, including my own. I don't even think it looks like... I shaved very recently. That's just what my legs look like. Anyway.
Yeah, that didn't scar.
So is that from the blunt force of...
Yeah.
Why does the skin do that for a blunt force? Like, I couldn't believe my leg was bleeding after I got hit. It does. Okay, yeah.
The impact causes it to stretch and it splits.
That's fucking horrible. Yes, there you go. Something. Tim reads romantasy before sci-fi or fantasy. Yes.
That's the real takeaway from this whole chat.
I'm 70% of the way through The Daughter of No Worlds. That is Chris's second series. That one's actually quite interesting. It's a little bit less on the like tropey romance and a little bit more on the like a fantastical element of a weapon being a sentient entity that is imbued into someone so that they become a weapon. So if that's your jam, Daughter of No Worlds is there. I'm really excited to talk to Carissa about those books. She's got a new one coming out after that as well, book 2 in the that series. I don't know the name of it. Lisa, what's the name of the Daughter of No World series called? Dawn Shard. The Daughter of No Worlds. It's a series. Fallen Gods. Or
Oh,
something.
I haven't read that one.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Don't forget, if you're in the Discord, and this is open to absolutely everyone, look in the community chat. KP Dubs is going to be GMing our next Dungeon Crawler card game. All of our characters are going to get audience boxes. What are they called?
Fan boxes. Yeah.
Fan boxes.
Yeah.
And everyone's voting on the fan box that our characters get. So that's a lot. There you go. The War of Lost Hearts. Thanks, guys. A little Google happened in there. Appreciate it. If you like Alchemized enough, you're going to make the book club read it. I'm probably going to make book club read Quicksilver first. Probably in January. Maybe as a bonus book. But Brimstone is the follow-up, and that's coming out in like 6 days. I am champing at the bit for that one. Katie, have you read Quicksilver yet? I think I already saw you say that Brimstone's out. And yeah, and we're going to be eating it up, devouring it. Nom Nom City. Love that. Hopefully I'll have more news as well about December. The Dragonsteel Nexus is happening. And there's a ball and events. And so I will let you know if I'm involved in that at all. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We're not sure yet, but I'll keep you posted. The Worldbringer Ball, exactly. World Singer. Which one is it? World Singer? Are we locking in World Singer?
I think it's World Singer. That's a position in the Cosmere.
World Hopper is what we're...
World Hopper, that's what it is.
That's what we're looking for.
World something.
The worlds between. All right, I'll be at Dragonsteel Nexus. I'm not going to the ball, though. Pianki, I will let you know. I will let you know if I'm going to be at the convention. All right, on that note, happy reading, everyone. Finish the next book for Book 2 Bobiverse. That was Zelda. Sounded like a fart. She was just snoring. I don't know if you heard it, but I just wanted to clarify just in case. Baby, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me, girl? All right, on that note, everyone, we'll see you next week. Same time. Blame the dog. No, it was. She makes
it was the dongle.
We have in-jokes. Become a member plus today. My cool little buddy that I met who streamed Heroes of Might and Magic is playing some Age of Empires 2. We are so raiding, everyone. He's so lovely.
Age of Empires 2?
Yeah.
Jesus, flashback. Holy shit.
Yes.
I love that game. It's great.
Make sure everyone you say hi. He's been streaming full-time. Full-time? He's been streaming part-time for about 4 or 5 years. So any love and support would be magical. And the fact that like I was streaming Heroes of Might and Magic, the new olden era, and I looked to see who else was playing the game, and there were like 3 other streamers, and that's it. And he was one of them. And so now we have this like nice little support system. Anyway, go say hi. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Oh wait, I have to figure out if I'm going to stream on Friday. I'll figure it out. All right, guys, I really do have to skedaddle. I'm getting picked up very, very quickly. Fun show.
Night.
Have a fun. That was a fun show.
For such a short book, impressive. We stretched that sucker out.
There was things to talk. Oh wow, Tim, did you shave or did the?
No, I'm old.
Is that what happens?
It's AI, like Vaden said.
Is that what happens for real? It's wild.
Grow over scar tissue.
Also, as a side note, Katie and Alyssa and Rob, who is it? Just Katie and I that have read Quicksilver. Who gives a shit about Brimstone? Anyone?
I don't want to read it.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I want to.
Katie, ask me what I did last night.
What did you do last night? I'm going to be jealous.
Callie Hart invited me to a dinner party so that they could celebrate the upcoming release, and they had, let me show it to you. No one else gives a shit about this, but this is for you, Katie.
Oh.
They made a cake. It's not autofocus. They made a cake with the, it's not autofocus. They made a cake with
the cake.
With the,
looks like a
the promo that they've been doing. Have you seen the promo they've been doing with not AI but real people?
I think I've heard the audio, but I don't think I've seen the people.
The fucking book trailer's over 1 million views.
I'm just excited. This is why I'm reading too. I'm gonna read Brimstone.
Katie, I need you to watch the trailer.
Okay.
That is the worst clip ever, by the way.
Why is that on the channel?
Did you see? You didn't. The guy you rated put up a shout out, and it played a clip of you from the Atomic Habit stream when we asked you how Zelda would react if you choked to death in your apartment.
Oh, and I flung
and you fell on the floor, and Zelda just walked away. That was the clip they showed. It was just Maude like, hold on, let me get on the floor.
I can explain that clip.
I don't know what you mean.
All right, on that note, bye everyone. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye. Baby girl.